So, we are live. So first of all, I'd like to thank sir to join us, and we also welcome Deepika, who is the moderator for the session. So first of all, giving on a brief introduction about sir, who is the director and senior counsel, legal counsel of Advocate Upadhye and Associates, Bombay High Court. Advocate Upadhye and Associates have set the mission to create a safe and inconspicuous workplace for women who constitute 48% of today's workforce. Inching close to their vision, they're proud to have trained more than 300 corporate companies across India and abroad, and they're delighted to make them post compliant. Along with that, they're also happy to tell you that since last few years, Advocate Upadhye and Associates have tied up with various cyber cells and local government authorities and has dealt with nearly 200 plus fraudsters across the nation. They have sensitized people through various news, radio channels, and made them aware of the cyber frauds, their modus operandi, and their legal rights in a case of cyber fraud happens. So, hence, we feel that this workshop of cybersecurity and its legal framework would educate the public and it will be beneficial to the society at large. So, I will hand over the stage to sir to speak about and give a brief introduction to this workshop.
Sure. Thanks a lot for the kind introduction and a very warm good evening to all the viewers of this particular webinar. I'm very delighted that you have taken out your valuable time and you have come here or gathered to understand the various facets and the various nuances of cyber frauds and cyber crimes. This is the second time that we are associating with Legal Fumes, and let me tell you that Legal Fumes has been very hospitable towards me, and I'm very touched by this gesture of them, and I'm more touched that the future lawyers who are going to be, the cornerstone of the Indian legal system, they have taken out their valuable time and they have come here to understand that what is cyber security, what is the modus operandi of cyber frauds, and how the mind of a cyber criminal works. So before we start this webinar, I would like to start with some very interesting statistics. I really enjoy, studying statistics. So statistics being my favorite study, I would like to show some very interesting statistics in front of the viewers. Now, everyone knows that the population of India as a country is 133 crores. But how many of you are aware that there are not more than 5,000 cyber trained professionals in India? So that means one professional is for more than 5 lakh to 10 lakh people staying in this country. And when we have such alarming statistics that are right on our face, it tells us that awareness and sensitization is the only thing that can help us become cyber safe and cyber secure. Now, this awareness or this sensitization should not be only limited to the public. It should start with the public. You may ask me why. Because public is the custodian of its own data. As you keep as you put a very strong lock to all your physical assets, it is very necessary that you put a strong lock to all your digital assets as well. And hence the awareness and sensitization should generally start from the public but should not end there. The second area which requires some kind of awareness or sensitization is the judiciary. The reason I say this is because the Information Technology Act is 20 years old, and in this last 20 years, there has been a lot of advancement when it comes to, when it comes to technology, because the technology in the last 20 years has grown leaps and bounds. The third area which requires some kind of awareness and sensitization would be the investigation team, which are the police personnel in this case, because even they should be made aware about the latest technology. What is the seizure procedure? How can a case be strongly put up in the court so that a strict section is implemented and a strict punishment and a watertight case is created against the criminal in the court. So when all these three areas, when we follow this three-dimensional approach towards tackling any problem, then we can say that India as a country, we are getting 1 inch closer to make this country a cyber safe and cyber secure nation. Because if you see that when these three areas are covered, the public, the judiciary, and the investigation agency, when these three areas are covered, we feel that this is a very watertight compartment is formed, and which will definitely help you to remain safe in the future to come. Now, as we start this webinar, or as we start digging deeper into the subject of cyber security and cyber frauds, first of all, let me start by asking you few questions, or maybe let me start by making certain assumptions. All the viewers can always give their answers in the live comment session, so that we can understand if we all are on the same page. So my first assumption of or question is that everyone in this webinar is using a mobile phone. My second assumption, everyone in this webinar has an email address. My third assumption, everyone in this webinar has a Facebook account. And my fourth and fifth assumption is everyone is using WhatsApp, and everyone is also, most of them might be also using Truecaller as an application. Friends, this things or these questions might be very irrelevant to you, or you might also feel that why is he asking us so general questions. Everybody has a mobile, everybody has an email address, Facebook and WhatsApp to common hai, and everyone is using Truecaller. So why is he asking me these questions, or why is he making such assumptions? These are very irrelevant or very easy to understand assumptions. But friends, this might be very irrelevant to you, but to me these questions hold a great deal of importance, because with my experience and my knowledge in handling cyber fraud and cyber scam investigations, I have come to know that even without you inserting your SIM card in the mobile handset, a telephone call can be generated from your number. Even without you inserting your SIM card in the handset, a SMS can be generated from your number. So tomorrow, if your number is used for any sort of a fraud or a scam, it is going to be you who's going to be called in the respective police stations or in the respective cyber cells for the purpose of investigation. And friends, let me tell you that this is a very tiresome and a very cumbersome process. My third assumption that I made in this webinar is that everyone is using a Facebook account. Isn't that right? Most of us, we cannot live without Facebook, because most of the things that we eat, do, anything that we do, we celebrate, we are sad, everything we go ahead and post on Facebook as a platform. Now, if I may ask you that how many of you have actually uploaded your own picture as your profile picture on Facebook? Am I is it safe to assume that everyone you must have done that? Because you are known in the virtual world by your virtual identity. So I'm sure that you must be using your own picture as your Facebook profile picture. You can always give me the answers in the live comments, so that we can understand if we are on the same page. Friends, why I ask this question is because this is the most riskiest thing that you have ever done in your life. Cut, copy, paste, print screen, and save. This is all that the fraudster needs to do if he wants to create a fake profile using your photo or using your name. All these functionalities are active on Facebook. When we talk about Facebook, I recollect a very interesting case that happened with me when I was, giving a seminar in one of the colleges in Mumbai. So what happened is my subject was cyber security and its legal framework. And after the webinar was complete, one of the students, one of the boys, came up to me and said that, "Sir, I'm really facing a big problem and I would want to meet you." I said, "Unfortunately, I don't have the time to meet you right now, but what I can do is I can give you my office details and my phone number. You give me a call and I'll meet you in the morning next day." He tried giving me a call in the morning, but unfortunately, certain emergency meetings came up, and I was not able to attend this call. So this boy tried calling me 2 3 times, and I understood that the matter is something of serious nature, and that is the reason he's trying to get in touch with me so urgently. So I gave him a call back. I called him in the evening to my office, and as he entered the office, I understood by looking at his body language that something emotionally and mentally is disturbing this particular boy, because his body language told me that he was his it was not sounding confident. There were dark circle under his eyes. So I could, in general, looking at his in general persona, I felt that this person is emotionally or mentally disturbed. And hence I told him that, okay, why were you trying to get in touch with me so frantically? So that is when he told that, sir, actually what happened is that I received a request from an unknown girl on Facebook, and I found the photo very pretty, so hence I accepted the friend request, and I started chatting with this particular girl. And during the course of our friendship, our chats grew more personal, our chats grew more intimate. And right now this girl is blackmailing me to pay me 20,000 rupees every month, and if I don't do that, she will upload the copy of the chats on the she will send an email to the dean, and she'll also send the email to the parents of this boy. And hence this particular boy was not attending college, and he had taken up a job in a call center, and he was doing night shifts, due to which in the morning he used to be so tired that he was not able to go ahead and attend the classes. And hence all this emotional and mental disturbance which was playing and showing up on his physical appearance as well. I understood that this matter is of a very grave and serious nature, and hence I took this matter up on moral grounds. So, in the first leg of investigation, when we tried to do some cyber forensics, we came to know that this particular Facebook account through which this chatting was happening from somewhere in the vicinity of that particular college. So, one thing was sure, we got our first clue that this is someone from the college who's doing this particular kind of mischief. And friends too are very surprised when we did dig deeper, when we conducted some advanced forensics on the account in trying to find out the location from which this account was accessed. To our surprise, it was not any girl, but it was the boy who was sharing the same room in the college, same room in the hostel, and was sharing the same bench in the college. Immediately the boy was called, he was questioned. Is the only thing is that we did not take a legal action against this boy, because looking at his tender age, no one wanted to place up permanent black mark on his career, and hence no action was taken. Friends, you all must understand that the Facebook today is the largest, is the platform with the largest number of users. It was developed in US, but India has more Facebook accounts than even the population of US. So we are the highest number. India is the highest, country in terms of numbers who's using Facebook as a platform, and that is why 76% of the crimes are happening using Facebook as a platform, and 53% of them are happening against women. Friends, I'm not trying to create an atmosphere of fear here, but we all need to understand, as a citizen of India, having some sort of knowledge on cyber laws and cyber forensics, it is somewhere my duty to help you understand, or to put out in front of you the real facts or circumstances that are happening in today's world. As students, you are not closely associated, or it is not your day to day routine to come across such cases, but it has become our routine that we come across such cases, and such cases really create a dent in terms of trusting any individual as a friend or a relative or a colleague. Friends, I would, while talking to you, I just came to, I just recollected one more thing that I would definitely want to ask you. How many of you in this actual webinar have, uploaded the profile picture of any of your celebrity that you follow, any film star, any, you can say sports icon? any person that you follow, and has any one of you uploaded his picture as your own profile picture on Facebook? Has anyone done that in this forum? It's good that no one has done that, but if someone has done that, let me tell you that this is some kind of an offense. Okay, Ronak Alam tells me yes, he has done that. Okay, right. So people who have not done that, it is very good. But let me tell you, for the people who have done that, they have actually committed some kind of an offense under the guise of identity theft, which in the under the Information Technology Act, which is popularly known as cyber law. Because uploading the picture of someone without his written or explicit consent itself comes into the foray of impersonification. And when you look at it from the information technology or from the IT perspective or from the cyber perspective, you have committed some sort of an offense of identity theft. There is an imprisonment of 3 years and fine up to 1 lakh rupees. And hence I say that awareness and sensitization plays a very important part in understanding how you present or what kind of things you put up on your social media accounts or on the internet in general. Friends, tell me if there are any advocates in this forum. If there are any advocates in this particular forum, please tell me that if any of the advocates in this forum have actually read, or even this question would be also applicable to students. Any of the students over here, or any advocates in this particular webinar right now, have they ever bothered to check the terms and conditions of Facebook? I think it is very safe to assume that none of us have actually done that, and we are posting all information about ourselves, right from the things that we like, right to the places that we visit, and right to the names and names and details of our family members, because we sometimes tag them in lot of occasions, or on auspicious occasions. If there is a birthday, we tag our family members. So all this information that we are providing, it is taken up by all these platforms for absolutely free of cost, and they are making millions and millions of money on this information that we are providing. A very basic and live example that I would like to share with you. I think this has happened with mostly everyone in this forum. Whenever you type in your Google search bar, suppose if you're searching for something online, for example, if you are looking out for t-shirts, so you just type in t-shirts online in maybe Mumbai. If you type this in your search in your Google search bar, you will get list of various e-commerce site or various platforms that are selling t-shirts online. But have you anytime noticed that if you visit any other website on which there are ads that are displayed, you will see the same kind of t-shirts or different kind of t-shirts that will be showing up in that ad column on the websites that you browse, which have ads enabled on their website? Doesn't this happen a lot of times? That you're typing for a t-shirt, and 2 3 hours later, if you browse on another site which has ads displayed on their site, you will see the same kind of t-shirts, or you will see t-shirts that will be displayed in the ad for sale. Friends, we need to understand that how do these things work. Let Facebook boast the best and best of security policies, but to hack into a Facebook account is merely a 20 to 25 minutes job. If you read the terms and conditions of Facebook, it clearly says that it does not take any responsibility of the information that you upload on their platform. On the other hand, it says, or it makes an obligation on you, that you should be uploading all the correct information about yourself. But on the other hand, they are not taking any guarantee of the information that has been stored on their platforms or that has been uploaded on their platforms. On the contrary, Facebook also says that it will share this information with third party service provider or third party partners if the need arises. So we are uploading one information on one particular platform, and it might get divulged to multiple partners, so a lot of people come to know about your personal information and personally identifiable data. WhatsApp, if you read the terms and conditions of WhatsApp says that we only use the servers for transmitting the messages from the sender to the receiver. But in certain investigations, they have been able to give us information which was a week old, or which was sometimes even a month old, which tells us that, without storing this information, how was it possible for them to retrieve this information for us? So they are definitely retaining or this information for future purposes. Because what happens is, whenever we are downloading all these applications, we all tick a small box that says I have read the terms and conditions. Without even reading the terms and conditions, 99% of the people who are in this webinar will directly click without reading the terms and conditions. And in fact, it is us that is allowing them or giving them an express permission to use and share our data for absolutely free of charge. All these companies are gathering data for absolutely no cost, and they are making millions and millions of the money of our data that is being that is being uploaded by our own self. They are sharing it with third party service providers with the permission of us, because we only allow them by clicking on that tick. So how can they be made legally liable? It is us who are liable for the information that we are uploading, because we are accepting that we are uploading this information and we are allowing this information to be shared with third party providers. The consent is given by us, so hence the liability comes on us. And hence, all I would like to say is that we should be very careful about what information we are uploading on Facebook or any other social media platforms. I would not say that you should not be using technology, because that would be talking like an orthodox person and taking the India on a backward step. So I don't want to do that. We should be using technology. The main use of technology was to make a person's life more simpler, not complicated. But everyone has written a composition in our school which says computer a boon or a curse. So in this case also, technology can also be a boon, and it can also be a curse, because there is a very famous English saying which says every coin has two sides, one good and one bad. So as it has a good side of making life simple, it also has the other bad side of the cyber frauds and cyber scams that are happening using this technology or misusing this technology. Now, coming to my fifth assumption, I asked everyone that how many of you are using Truecaller as an application. So I would like to ask you that, can anyone in this forum explain to me how Truecaller works, or what is the main motive of Truecaller? You can always give me an answer in the live comments. Can anyone tell me how does Truecaller as an application work or function? What is the main motive of Truecaller? Okay, so let me answer this question for you, and I think everyone over here will agree. The main motive of Truecaller is it gives you information about a person who's not stored in your contact list. Is that right? Is that why we use Truecaller for? At some point of time, it will give you the name of the person who's calling. At some point of time, it will give you the service provider using which he's calling from. And at some point of time, it will also give you the location from where this person is calling you from. Friends, do you know where are the servers of Truecaller located? Do you have any idea that in which country? Let me tell you, let me give you a hint that they are not in India for sure. Can you tell me where are the servers of Truecaller located? Please don't check on the internet. Give me an honest answer. Whatever, it might be wrong. I'm not judging you on that. Okay. So the servers of Truecaller are located in a country by the name of Sweden, which is in Europe. And if my memory is not wrong, in the year 2014, there was a big hacking incident that happened with Truecaller, wherein database of 10 lakh Indians was compromised. And as we talk now, the database or this numbers might have even increased to a number of 25 or 30 lakhs. If you read the Truecaller, if you see the application, if you look at the application or if you download the application, at some point of time Truecaller will access your contact list. At some point of time it will also ask you for the access of your message bar. At some point of time it will ask permission for allowing you to access your microphone or your photos or your gallery. And all this information is available because it is us who click on the tick that says I have read the terms and conditions. Friends, since we spoke about all these day-to-day applications that we use right now, let us try to understand that how legally, how well are we tuned to appreciate or to address any issue or any fraud related that is happening through the digital media or in a digital format. So first of all, as we started by saying that the Information Technology Act was enacted in the year 2000. The last amendment came in the year 2008. So if you imagine our lives before 12 to 20 years back, okay, most of you might, I think that there might be some people in the session that they were not even 12 to 20 years back, they didn't even know how to operate a mobile, because maybe you must be 7 8 years old that time. So maybe you did not know how to operate a mobile. Most of the transactions that were happening as physical transactions. There were no online transactions, there was no internet banking, there was no digital wallets that we have like Google Pay and Phone Pay. We did not have applications like that. And right now in the year, in this last 12 to 20 years, there has been so much advancement in the technology that the Information Technology Act is not currently tuned or not upgraded to address the complex issues that are coming in with the advent of cyber frauds and cyber scams. If you read the Information Technology Act, you will come to know that most of the sections are bailable, and even the fines are not more than 1 and 2 lakh rupees. So there is a big need from the side of the judiciary to make such offences non-bailable, and also to ensure that a strict amount of fine or a strict amount of imprisonment is given to the person who's committing this atrocious offense of a cyber fraud. Now, what are the types of cyber frauds? What are the different kind of cyber frauds that that you guys know? Or let me tell you what are the different kind of cyber frauds. I'll give you a quick eye opener by giving a short description about each type of cyber fraud that I know. So the first, let us start with bank frauds. So when anyone is removing money from your account in an unauthorized manner or an unsolicited manner means without your approval or consent. If someone is accessing your bank account and removing money using your internet banking facilities, using your credit card, using your debit card, they have committed they have committed an offense of a banking fraud. So anything that happens with using your bank account will be termed as a banking fraud. Then there are e-commerce frauds, wherein I would like to share an incident that happened right in front of me. So me and my friends were going out for dinner few years back, and one of my friends was continuously busy chatting with someone. So all my friends started pulling his leg कि अरे किससे बात कर रहा है, कोई लड़की से बात कर रहा है, हमारे पास ध्यान नहीं है. तो ये सब चीजें सब उसको चिढ़ाने लग गए. So that is when he confessed that okay, I'm actually selling my car on this platform by the name of OLX. I'm sure everybody is aware of OLX. So I'm selling my car on this platform of OLX, and someone has contacted me, and someone has said that without even seeing the car, I have liked the car so much that I want to send you some advance money. Now, being into the cyber forensics field, I know what are the different modus operandi of the cyber fraudsters. I immediately asked my friend that has he sent you a link and he has told you to click on the link, and as soon as you click on the link, he has told you that you will receive the money. Is that the case? My friend said yes. How do you know? I said, yeah, I'm working in this field. This is my bread and butter. So how am I supposed to not know all these things? So I told this friend that, see, I had this prior knowledge, or I had handled a case previously wherein the same thing had happened. So I knew that something like this can go wrong, because right now the cyber fraudsters have come up with such unique and such beautiful, innovative technology that even without you sharing your PIN number of your digital wallet, even just by clicking on that link, money will be siphoned off from your account. They don't even require your PIN or your password. They will just send you a link. You have to click on that link, and they will tell you that the money will be debited to your account. But in fact, the money will be credited or siphoned off or removed from your account. But friends, you have to understand one thing over here. If you, I know that I'm, little deviating from the topic, but this is something that is very important for you. Any fraud that is committed, the fraudster in any kind of fraud, maybe a cyber fraud or any physical fraud as well, the fraudster or the con man always studies the psychology and the mentality of a victim. The cyber fraudsters have also studied and understood the psychology and the mentality of the victims, and they have came to know, and as they are trying to decipher, or as they are trying to find out, or they are trying to decode our mentality and our psychology, let us turn the tables today and let us try to understand that what is the psychology of a cyber fraudster. So the cyber fraudster will always try to exploit the basic human emotion of greed. They will give you offers that are too good to be true. You have won a lottery somewhere, you have accrued some points over somewhere. Give me your details. I will go ahead and process this kind of a payment for you. We have to give you an upgrade on your credit card. So they will give you all the kind of things that will try to exploit the basic human emotion of greed, and that is where their success lies. And people who get exploited, or people who are not using their due diligence, that is where they become a victim of cyber fraud. And coming back to the case, the same thing happened when I told my friend that you instead tell him that instead of me clicking on any link, why don't I just give you my account details like my bank account number and IFSC code? You please go ahead and transfer the money into that account. Immediately when that thing was said, and he never responded back with any sort of a with any sort of an offer. But friends, see, that time I was there to save him, so I won't be there every time to save you or save somebody. But this is where your own due diligence and your own logic and your own common sense plays a very important part. You should try to understand that why would a person buy a thing without seeing it, and that too an expensive thing like a car? Why would someone do something like that? And this is where you have to use your own due diligence, and all these kind of frauds are become a part or become into the gambit of e-commerce frauds. Now let us talk about what are job portal frauds, or what are job frauds. So to explain this, I'll again give you a very good example. One of my clients wanted a job a job abroad. He did not want to work in India, and he was at a director level, so he was looking out for a job in a foreign country, a developed country. So he uploaded his CV or his resume on this platform by the name of shine.com. I don't know how many people are aware of this job portal, but this is a very famous job portal by the name of shine.com. So he uploaded his resume on shine.com, and within a week he received a call saying that his resume has been shortlisted and he would be getting a job in Australia. My client was very excited that his resume got selected so early, and now his dream of working in a developed country is going to be fulfilled, and he's soon going to go to Australia. These fraudsters started asking for money under the guise of immigration charges, under the guise of custom charges, under the guise of permit charges. Under the garb of all these charges, they siphoned off 2 crore 78 lakh rupees from his account. But friends, I also feel that this is not the intelligence of the cyber fraudster. I feel that this is somewhere the shortcoming of the person, of that particular person as well. Because if he would have now, after this 2 crore 78 lakh rupees was siphoned off from his account, that is when he started contacting the Australian authorities and asking whether this company is true, and if this company is genuine, if this company is valid. He did it after the money was transferred, but as a due diligent person or as a prudent human being, this activity should have been carried out before even transferring a single rupee in an unknown person's account. So if he would have made a call to the Australian authority before transferring the money, today his money would have been safe. And that is where every time, like again and again, I'm emphasizing on this point of your awareness, your own due diligence, and using your own common sense. Then there are certain kind of friendship frauds which happen over Facebook or any other platforms, wherein a person contacts you being a friend, tries to establish a personal relation with you, and tells you that okay, I'm coming to meet you in India, and okay, and on that particular day his flight gets cancelled, he is not able to come to India. He tells you, I'm sending you a gift, and under the garb of the gift, someone will call you from the custom office and tell you that okay, this gift has arrived at the Delhi airport, please come and collect it. But since the gift is running in crores, you have to pay custom duty, which runs into lakhs. And one of my clients ended up paying 11 lakh rupees as a fake custom duty, and this person also was found to be fictitious, and the money was never recovered. So it's very necessary that you use your own due diligence. One of the important kind of cyber frauds that I would like to touch upon, and I'm sure that many of you have also heard about this. If you recollect, 1 or 2 weeks back, everyone must have heard a news saying that Chinese cyber attackers are going to attack Indian accounts, and they are going to what do you say, commit an attack on the Indian accounts. I'm sure that everyone must have heard this news, that there is news from the CERT, which is the Computer Emergency Response Team as well, that lot of Indian IDs and lot of Indian accounts are going to be hacked by Chinese hackers, and they are going to do that by sending out a phishing email. So let us try to understand that what is phishing in very simple words. So it is phishing is not phishing, it is phishing. Okay, so what happens in this phishing attack is an email address which looks very similar to an original email address or a genuine email address of a company or an organization. A fake email address is created which is looking very similar to the genuine one, and an email is being sent out. So let us take an example. For example, the genuine email address of the government is testing center at gov.in. So the cyber fraudster will create an email address which will say testing centers. He will just add a small s at the end of the word center, and the rest of the email address will remain the same. And using this fake email address, because what happens is that the human eye always reads the first part and the end part, and it always misses the middle part. And that is where, taking advantage of the human error or the error of the human eye, they send you a phishing email and they make you click on a link, or they make you download any sort of attachment, or they tell you to download something on your laptop. And when you click on that link or when you download that particular stuff, this is nothing but a malicious software that records everything or all the activities that are happening on your handset or on your laptop. So all your personally identifiable information is being captured, and using this, then a fraud is committed using your bank account details or your other, maybe digital wallet details. If you read, because see what happens is, you should try to understand this, that all these phishing attacks and all, in order to stop this or prevent this, it is your due diligence that is very necessary, that you check each and every word of that email address, because there are so many phishing emails that are happening that somewhere it is necessary for your own safety that you properly check and confirm each and everything. Then everyone must have heard about cyber stalking. So cyber stalking is somewhere when the stalker or the fraudulent person or the harasser, he continuously stalks or follows your profile, he follows your activities, he follows what time you get up, what time you post, what things you post, when are if you are going out somewhere for an event, and when he uses this information to harass a particular person, that will be termed as cyber bullying. So this is the difference between cyber stalking and cyber bullying. Stalking is only gathering this information, and bullying is, harassing a person using the information that was gathered by following a particular profile. Then there are offenses, like I gave you a case study, or I discussed a live case study that happened with me that talked about identity theft. So what does the first case study that we discussed, in that particular case, what had happened is that this boy had taken the identity of that girl. He had disguised himself as that girl, and hence the offense that was called was identity theft. He had stolen the identity of someone else. So then there is other attacks as salami attacks, wherein a very minuscule amount is being debited from thousands and thousands of accounts, and at the end of the fraudster makes lakhs and lakhs of money, because a very minuscule amount like 50 rupees, 100 rupees, they will be debited from your account, and a person generally doesn't check for that minuscule amount, but this amount is actually transferred from thousands and thousands of accounts. A malicious software is installed in the banking software, and every month this particular amount gets debited from hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people, and at the end of it, the fraudster is the one who's making millions and millions of money. So these are the various kind of cyber frauds or cyber scams that generally happen. You might want to ask me that what is the procedure in case a cyber fraud or a cyber crime happens. So let us take a scenario that by in an unauthorized manner, money is being siphoned off from your banking account. So the first thing that you need to do is, you first of all need to go ahead and call up the customer service department and speak to the investigation or the fraud detection team, and you have to register an offense or register a complaint with this department. Do make sure that you always take an acknowledgement number from this department, because that will have the legal obligation and legal validity or legal proof saying that you have made the proper necessary complaint with the investigation team or the grievance cell of that particular department, or the customer service for that matter. And you have to make sure that you make this complaint within the first 3 days, because that is the rule as per the Reserve Bank of India. That are the guidelines that have been set by the Reserve Bank of India. You can do it after 3 days as well, but then amount of compensation that you are supposed to receive back, then that differs, or they have put a cap on that particular amount. So it is always better that you do it in the first 3 working days of the fraud. After you get an acknowledgement number, the next step is immediately go to the local police station or the local cyber cell and register a detailed complaint. Give a in detailed description of the incident. Make a note of the date, time, the actual facts, actual circumstances. For example, you were sleeping at 10 o'clock and you get a message at 12 o'clock in the night saying that the money was siphoned. Please make a detailed description of the entire story, because it is very necessary for the police to understand how this entire fraud happened, so that he can use the necessary investigation tips to ensure that the investigation is carried out in a proper way or in a proper manner. Make sure that you get a signed and sealed copy, a duplicate copy with the sign and seal of the respective police station or of the respective police officer, which will stand as a legal proof that you have made a complaint with the necessary investigating authorities. And in the future, if you feel that no investigation has taken place, or the investigation methodology what that they are using is not going in the right direction, you can always make an application under the Right to Information Act, asking them the procedure and the stage of investigation. But for that, you have to have the signed and sealed copy, which will stand as a proof. Immediately go ahead and make sure that you submit this copy with the respective bank so that even they are aware that you have raised a police complaint. And make sure that once the money is siphoned off in an unauthorized manner, there is a provision by the bank wherein which you will be given conditional credit. For example, if 5,000 rupees are transferred from your account in an unauthorized manner, the bank will put in a conditional credit of 5,000 rupees back into your account till the time the investigation is not complete. And the bank is supposed to come out with an investigation report within 90 days, and it should submit the copy of the investigation report to you. If you feel that the investigation has not happened properly, you can immediately go ahead and raise a complaint. And the bank should also, in that particular case, if they find out that the fault is not yours, then the full money will be credited back into your account. So now, since we are already into the 45th or 46th minute of this webinar, I would like to give you certain tips that will help you remain safe in the times to come. So my first preventive measure is, first of all, you should always keep a separate bank account that will be only used for online transactions, like for internet banking, or it will be attached to your digital wallets that are currently being used. Make sure that you do not keep more than 3 to 5,000 rupees in that account, so that in the future, even if a fraud is committed on your account, at least lot of money has not been lost. I know a lot of people who have lakhs and lakhs of money in their account. They are attaching the same account to a digital wallet. They all need to understand that they are giving the access to their account to a third party, and hence they should keep minimum amount of cash in that particular account. And the best way to do is they should operate, or they should open up a separate account which will be only used for internet banking, which will be only used for online transactions, and which will be only attached to their digital wallets, and keep limited amount of cash in that particular account. Secondly, everyone is using an Android phone or an iOS phone. Basically, everyone is using a smartphone. And in these days, what happens is you put in your email address at the start, at the beginning, and or whenever you are, when you take, sometimes if you take a new phone, all you need to do is you just need to insert your email address, and all the accounts get automatically synchronized in the phone. So what you need to do here is you should always use a separate email account which is attached to your internet banking, and which is attached to any mobile or digital wallet that you are currently using. So keep it separate from your personal account. Create a separate email address for all these online transactions. And thirdly, you should also use a separate mobile number on which you will receive OTPs, you will receive SMSs and it will be only attached to this accounts using which you are doing internet banking, or it will be attached to your digital wallets. Fourth and very important point, if you are using all these applications, they ask you security questions like, what is your mother's maiden name, what is your pet's name. Make sure that you don't give them the right answers, because most of us, if they ask us what is our mother's maiden name, and if we give the correct answer, then at some point of time we are tagging our mother on a Mother's Day, we are tagging her on her birthday or maybe your birthday, and somewhere it becomes very easier for the fraudster to get the answer to this question. Many people write the correct answer to the name of their pet, and they tag the pet on their Facebook timeline or their Facebook account. So it becomes very easy for the fraudster to get all this information, because all he needs to do is he just needs to scroll your timeline. He will see the name of the pet that you have tagged him on, and he will immediately insert the answer, and he will get access. So give irrelevant answers that you will not forget to all these relevant questions that they ask you on your security questions. And I would not be saying that you should not be sharing your password, and you should not be sharing your OTPs, because this is what should come with logic and common sense. If you do not have this common sense and logic, then I think God alone can save you. So I'm not going to tell you that don't share your passwords and your personally identifiable information, because that should be a given. You should never be sharing all these personal details, because friends, you need to understand that the Prime Minister of India has said in one of his speeches that data is the new oil. Now, why has he? We have to understand that why is he given the importance of oil to data? Now, first of all, we need to understand why oil is so important. Now, oil has become a basic commodity, or a commodity that we cannot live in. It powers our houses, it powers the generators, it powers our cars, it powers, it is like a, irreplaceable thing in a person's life. And hence it also controls the economies of various nations. When the price of oil goes up and down, the share markets go up and down. So that is why, even today, data, all our personally identifiable information, like what is our personally identifiable information? Your PAN card, Aadhaar card, debit card, credit card, your bank details, your passbooks, your ATM pins, your digital wallet pins, your account IDs, your email addresses. These are all your personally identifiable information, and all this information is available. And hence, using this information, all the transactions are happening, and hence all your virtually personally identifiable information has been given the importance of data, or has been given the importance of oil, sorry, because most of this data is being scrutinized to come up with different offers, to come up with different advertisements, and all this data is analyzed so that all these companies can churn a big amount of money using this data. And hence the data has been given the importance of oil, because most of the things are happening online. The payments are happening online, the shopping is happening online, dating is happening online, everything is happening online right now. So it is very important and very necessary that, and hence the Prime Minister of India has rightly given the importance of data to oil. And that is the reason I always say that your awareness and sensitization plays a very important part in keeping you cyber safe and cyber secure. Since we have already completed 50 minutes into this webinar, I would open this webinar to ask for the audience to ask me if they have any sort of questions, or if they have any doubts. And before I end this webinar, I would like to make a very humble request to all the girls or all the ladies in this webinar, is that if they are facing any sort of an harassment online, they should make sure that they go ahead and report this with the local police station or the nearest cyber cell, because chalta hai aur isme kya hua thoda sa hi kiya hai, this will all give strength to the harasser, and you might be at a risk of a future, a bigger offense that might be committed against you. So I want all the girls and all the ladies in this group to promise me that if they are currently facing, or if they know if anyone is facing, or in the future if they face any sort of online harassment, it is their duty and it is their responsibility, and they should promise me that they will go ahead and make a complaint with the local cyber cell or with the local police station, because your integrity and your modesty also is a part, or also falls into the gambit of your personal safety and your security. So all the girls should promise me that if any such incidents happens, they will not take it lying down, and they will make a report with the appropriate authorities. Having said that, I would like to open the session for if anyone wants to ask me any questions.
Hello, sir. Sir, the session was as usual fantastic, because we earlier had a session as well. One of the audience here wants to say that, like, he asked a question saying, what does a remedy a person has if he's using Chinese products? That is, especially the mobile phones like Oppo, Vivo, MI, or Poco. If he uses, they have this app called Security, which is owned by Clean Master, which is invariably a Chinese product. So if
Hmm.
any data is collected through that, it straight away goes to China. So what remedy or what sort of action can be taken against it?
Stop using Chinese applications if you don't want your data to be transferred. Isn't that the most simplest answer to that? Because if see how can we come up with a remedy about a thing that we don't own? We don't own this phone. I mean, we don't own the company is not based in India, so we don't have any jurisdiction over the rules and regulations that have been set up by China as a country. We don't have any jurisdiction, or we don't have any power to go ahead and amend such rules. But the only thing that what we can do, two things. First thing, the government should step in and they should come up with very strict guidelines or very strict rules that are being framed for companies that are, not only coming from China, but any foreign company who has an establishment in India. Very strong rules should be framed in terms of data security and data privacy. Secondly, if the servers are are located in China, then they should have, or we should have the authority to go ahead and investigate or we should have the access to the servers using which such fraud was committed. And at first stage, all these servers should first of all be transferred in India, so that all the information that has been stored on this server, we have jurisdiction over there. But using this application and then asking that, okay, what remedies that we actually don't have any remedies. The best remedy is to stop using that application if you are not satisfied with it.
Yes, thank you, sir. The next question is, one of the audience here says that he has made a complaint, like his brothers, he faced a similar situation as to what one of your case studies said. They said they went to the police officer to lodge a complaint, but the police took the complaint. However, they said that nothing can be done. So, what do you suggest we do? Should we go above the police, or what else can be done in this case?
Absolutely. So first thing, you have to take the name and number of the name and designation of the officer who's saying that nothing can be happened in this complaint. Because today, if you are an officer who's handling a cyber fraud or cyber scam case, if you are made a part of that department, it is somewhere your moral duty or your obligation of your job, wherein you have to make sure that you take up the necessary investigative steps to prevent or to find out or to discover an offense or to discover the true fraudster who has committed this offense. So any police officer who's telling you कि इसका कुछ नहीं हो सकता है, because you know why I'm saying this, I've come across various cases wherein the police ask you कि अरे OTP तो आपने दिया था, पासवर्ड तो आपने दिया था, तो फिर फ्रॉड क्या हुआ, फिर चीटिंग क्या हुआ, आपने तो सब इन्फॉर्मेशन दिया है. But no, this is not the case. This information, if we were tricked out to give this information, then it does not come as a valid consent, and hence this comes under the foray of cheating and fraud. And hence the police should actually take the proper investigative steps, and if they are not taking the steps, the next step is to either go to the DYSP if you are living in a rural area, and if you are living in the city limits, then you have to go to the ACP or the DCP or the commissioner of police, making a formal complaint against this police officer who is not ready or who is saying on the face that he will not, the iska kuch nahi ho sakta, ya the money will not be returned back. Iska, so this complaint should be made to the higher officials.
So the next question is, can anyone get into a cloud storage and misuse the data provided?
Absolutely you can, because see, right now there are so many softwares that are available on the dark web or even on the internet. Have you heard the concept of dark web? Now what happens in dark web is that you have to access this side of the internet using a special software, and people who are on this dark web, the identity of these people remains confidential. So that is the reason using dark web, lot of drugs are supplied, lot of terrorist activities, lot of funding is happening using the dark web, because the identity of the person who is owning that particular website or that particular application on dark web, his identity remains undisclosed, and that is why people use dark web. So when all these things are coming up, it is so easy. Even there are certain softwares that are available on the internet that using just cut, copy and paste format, you can go ahead and create a Aadhaar card of any person using any photo. There are certain softwares that are available. Photoshop was always there to help us in all these things. So when all these things are available, getting into cloud storage or getting into cloud space, hacking this information, because it becomes very easy, because the security practices that need to be followed are not properly followed. To give you a very small example, if you look at the Information Technology Rules 2011, it clearly states that the name of the grievance officer and the privacy policy should be placed at a very conspicuous place or at a very visible place on the website. But today, you check all the e-commerce site or all the service providers that you are actually using, and please come up with at least one website that has displayed the name of the grievance officer or the privacy policy at a very visible location on the website. You will find the privacy policy in a very small font at somewhere at the bottom of the website. This is actually not allowed. So that is what I'm trying to say, that the rules and regulations are there, the policies are in place, but the implementation is something that needs to be dealt with more strictly.
So is it safe to allow every permissions of Android apps?
Absolutely not. Only give them the permissions that are necessary. Only give them access to the things that are necessary. For example, if you are using Truecaller as an application, don't give permission for accessing your message list. Don't give access. Don't give permission to access your gallery. Don't give permission to access your video or audio. If you are using IMO as an application, even IMO as an application asks for all these permissions. Don't give them the permissions that are not required.
So the next question is, whenever an online webinar, especially now, whenever an online webinar is being conducted, they ask for name, email, mobile number, and as such. So now, how do we, like, because if we do not provide those details, we do not get registered for the webinar. But I want to attend the webinar. So how do we manage that?
Give fictitious details about yourself. Even when I entered this webinar, like since this was a known webinar and people had to know that I am the speaker, they need to know my name. That is the reason I'm putting Advocate Abhishek Upadhye. Otherwise, if there was a webinar wherein I didn't know the people, I would definitely not put my true name. I will just put a pseudo name and enter the webinar. And I'll create a pseudo email address which has not been attached to any of my personal accounts. I will create a separate email address which will be only used for attending webinar, so that other my personal information doesn't get mixed up with my professional or my educational stuff.
So next question is, if we install an app, we give the permission. But what is the guarantee that when we uninstall that same app, the data that we gave earlier is being returned back, or what happens to that data?
See, ideally, when you create a log of any data, this data is stored for unlimited amount of time, because the logs and everything are still present. But most of the companies, you have to send them an email or an official letter saying that I have deleted this account from your particular platform, and you should ensure that this particular data is erased from your system, and you should take an acknowledgement from these companies. If the company is not giving you this acknowledgement, then you can file a legal proceeding against such companies.
So I guess those are the set of questions that we have.
Okay. Even if someone else has any other questions, they can always get in touch with Legal Fumes and they can get back to me with the questions, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. So I think all the questions are over, and I would once again like to thank the audience for being such a wonderful audience, for taking out their valuable time in the evening and attending this session. And I pass it on to Legal Fumes for the closing notes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. It was a wonderful workshop. So I think that all our participants would have loved it. And we are also very thankful to you that you took out your this time from your busy schedule, and you provided us with a lot of knowledge about the cyber security and its legal framework. At last, I would also like to thank all the participants who joined us because without their continued support, we won't be able to bring such events and also workshops, and we wouldn't have given such chances to others to listen as well. So we hope that this continues to be the case, and we are thank you to Abhisekh sir for giving us this opportunity to learn and to grow as a team and to motivate us also, which is required in this field. Thank you, sir. Thanks once again.
You're most welcome, and everyone, please have a nice day. Take care, everyone. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye. We request our viewers to also subscribe the YouTube channel because we will be bringing such knowledgeable stuffs time to time, and also be posting few notes and also some classes as well. Just for you guys. So we also want you guys to subscribe the channel and also share this particular thing, which is also to your other friends if they want to listen. Thank you guys. We also thank our moderator Deepika for joining us and to help us throughout the session. Thank you.
Thank you. Stay safe.